Hello friends and fellow crafters. Our first video in this series was how to run the 2.5D Next system, and now in this video I'm going to show you how to make the mats for that system. So if you haven't watched the first video, make sure you do so you know what we're talking about when we do this video. So today I'm going to show you how quick and easy we can make these mats. So let's go to the table and crank those out.
Hey guys, here's our material, and the first thing you could use is this foam from the craft store. And the nice thing about this is it's already black, so you wouldn't have to paint it. Okay. Now another option, which I prefer, are these cork mats, and I got these from IKEA, and I like it because they have texture on them. They're textured, and there's 4 in this pack, and I paid about $4 for it, so not a bad deal. Now here I have one that I have painted flat black, and it's ready to go for the next step. I like these because they're kind of stiff, but still flexible, and they're easy to push around the table because they have enough weight. They do have these round corners though, which I haven't found to be a problem. So now we need to move on to the texturing phase of these mats. What I'm going to use the texture are these foam core sheets. Okay, now I got this at the Dollar Tree. I like these because they're $1, but on top of that, what I like best about these sheets are that the paper pulls off very easily. Regular foam core from a more expensive store is very hard to get the paper off. These Dollar Tree sheets, the paper pulls off very easily. So you can see I'm just pulling that off by hand, no water or any kind of other fuss, and so it's easy to get that off. So I've got a foam side, and I'm going to leave the paper on the other side. Okay, so there we go, and got that foam side and the paper side. So now I'll move on to the next step. So now I've got a piece here, and I've done a 4x4 square. Okay, and well, the one side is the foam that I pulled the paper off on, and the other side has the paper on it. Now you see this is a little curved, but this isn't going to matter for our purposes. Now I'm going to use a sharp box cutter. Now you want to make sure your box cutter is sharp because the foam can tear up very easily. It does help cutting on the paper side, so that's generally what I do. So I'm going to cut this out, and it'll give me a 4x4 square. And that's what I'm going to use to make the stamp to make the mats. Okay, now I've done a 4x4 grid on this, 1-inch grid, and just did all these blocks. Now this will help me when I do the stone texture, so I'm going to just use a ballpoint pen and just draw lines that will represent the blocks in the stone floor. Okay, and you see I'm just drawing those on, easy to do, and I'm not worrying about being too perfect. I mean, it's a stone floor, so I'm not worried about that. I mean, you can use some foil to kind of give it a little texture, and there you go. You don't want to do too much, but a little bit is nice. So I filled it all in. You can see it's ready to go. Now I need to make it so that the stones look like they're curving in on the edges. So I'm poking it with the ballpoint pen. And I'm just going to do that for all the places where the stones meet. Okay, and so I've got that all done. And that gives a nice curve to those stones on the very ends there. Alright, now I'm just going to use a simple butter knife and cut out this grid. I'm cutting down to the paper layer. I'm going to use a butter knife because I don't want to cut through the paper. If I use a sharper knife, I might cut the paper. So I'm just cutting through, and I got that grid going. But now I need to do the detail on the stone, so I'm just going to use the end of the butter knife and just poke it into the foam core, and that will give a nice definition to those stones. And I'll just keep doing that until I fill out the whole piece. Okay. You could also bang on a little bit with the butter knife to give it some more texture. You don't want to do it too much, but a little bit is all right. There we go. Now I'll finish up those stones. They're all finished. Now the problem with this is that it'd be very hard to stamp in the way as it is because it's flexible. So that would make it hard to stamp on the mats. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece of cardboard that I made, 2 layers of cardboard and then a couple layers for the handle, and I'm just going to hot glue that on to this. I'm going to glue the paper side on, okay, and then I will have a very nice stamp ready to go so I can get the texture on those mats. Alright, there we go, all set. Now I've got my mat and it's ready to stamp, and I've got my colors. I've got gray, burnt umber, coffee, and light gray. So I'm going to get my stamp and use my wide brush and just start brushing this on. Okay, want to give a generous coat, and you can dab some of the other colors to give it a variation, and I'll just line it up on the mat and stamp it, and then do it again. Now as you progress, you'll notice that you get more paint on the stamp, and you can actually stamp it twice. At the early stages you pretty much have to do it one stamp per load, but as you get later into the piece, or you do more of these at once, the thing will be loaded up and you'll be able to do a couple stamps at once. Okay. Now you noticed I turned the piece when I stamped it. Now if there are any little black areas you don't like, you can stamp in there with a brush. Just stipple on there basically to fill in some areas that were maybe a little uncovered when you did the stamp. And now we can reuse the stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold it over the water and use my brush and paint it on there. Now I don't want to get it on the cardboard, so that's why I'm doing it this way. And then I'll clear that off and it'll be ready for the next time. So yeah, there we go. And just dry it off and you'll be good for more stamps.
Hey crafters, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Also give your Scotty a like if you did like the video. Also I have a Facebook and forum group, so make sure to join those. I have the links below in the description to the video. And make sure that you watch the next part where I show how to make the walls. So the whole system will come together. We'll have the mats and the walls. So until next time, go forth and craft.
Yeah, nice looking floor there, Scotty. Hey, Scotty, where are the walls?